What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Spot Callers. I am Justin, here with Cyrus. And if you hear that music, you know where we're going today. We're going to early 2010 TNA Impact Wrestling with Victory Road 2011. What's going on, Cyrus?
That was one hell of an intro, but this is where we're going. You guys asked for it. We're finally doing it. This has been in the cards for months, but we're trying to stay away from it as long as possible.
Yeah, it really is one of the most despicable pay-per-views of all time. But luckily, we have the option, since I'm still paying for Impact Plus, to do another Impact show. And of course, that will be that's yet to be determined, right? So we'll do that later. But Victory Road 2011, we are firmly in what Impact or TNA wanted to say was the Monday Night Wars, where Impact actually aired on Mondays at one point. Cyrus, I know you weren't watching wrestling at this time, but it was a pretty big deal at the time that, the WWE and TNA would finally be head to head on the same night, at the same time, even with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff at the helm again. They were bringing back the Monday Night Wars. It sounds a little bit familiar to the Wednesday Night Wars in a lot of ways, but with a way more wider gap.
Yeah, just from what you told me when we were talking about this like long ago off mic, where it was just like this was in Universal Studios. They're not a lot of people didn't even have to pay for like a separate ticket to like see this. They can like just go to Universal Studios and then just like be there live. And I was just like, yeah, that doesn't sound too great.
Yeah. It was, the moment of TNA at this time, they were a laughing stock, and they did a lot of things to try and be taken seriously. A lot of huge signings, a lot of indie signings that, these are people that would eventually go on to do great things. But, in the end, there was a stench, if you will, of TNA. And that was that they had so much promise and so much possibility, and they never quite gelled and never quite coalesced. So we're at an interesting point when we review Victory Road and talk about it, because this is at an inroads where you have a lot of big stars coming in. You have a lot of big stars and established stars there. And, they were trying to get a lot of things off the ground. I mean, you had Ric Flair, you had AJ Styles, you had Matt and Jeff Hardy there. Like, you had everyone, there that could have turned the tide, and you still get pay-per-views like this.
Mm-hmm. And you know what everything you just said, except naming the superstars that were there at the time, that's kind of still the case for TNA today.
Right.
So I just feel like they've never got past that hump, like early TNA, like I would say like late 2000s. They were, formidable. Like they people could see them in a positive light back then, even though there were like hiccups every now and then. But like, I would say after that point, what you just said is like been a constant for TNA.
Yeah, failure is a constant. This show is no different. Let's get to it. Victory Road 2011 from the Impact Zone, aka Universal Studios in Orlando. Have you been there before?
Yes, I've been to Universal Studios before, but probably not the time when Impact was there. And if they were, I wouldn't care.
You didn't swing around to the Impact Zone, babe?
Nah, bro. I just wanted to get on all the roller coasters, bro.
I hate roller coasters.
I hate them now because they make my back hurt. But
but what, you skateboard though?
Oh yeah, that just hurts my knees though. So
yeah, okay.
Being tall sucks.
If you haven't seen Cyrus's skateboard adventures. I'm sure he'll start posting more on his Instagram handle.
Yeah, it's the same as the Twitter. Once you see the tweet about this episode, you can go and see it all. But nobody has faith in me. But that will only motivate me to keep going, like TNA.
Wow. Yeah. Right. So TNA Victory Road, Hogan and Sting centered opening. I mean, not for nothing. It was a pretty well produced intro. With the world famous TNA announcer intro, the guy who actually did the voiceovers for this, he passed away just recently.
Oh, damn, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he was I believe he was African American also, so that was pretty cool. So the intro walks us through Hogan and Bischoff's takeover of Impact. Impact. I keep calling it Impact Wrestling. I need to keep it's tough because they've changed names
so many times. But this is TNA. I'm gonna stick to TNA. It kind of talks about their takeover of TNA, leading to Sting's return, and then heel Jeff Hardy arrives. There was a bunch of faction warfare between Fortune and all that stuff that was going on. It's way too complicated to even try and bring up right now. I'll try and do it as we go along during the review. Mm-hmm.
But he beat Sting beat him for the heavyweight championship on Impact, which leads us to what this main event is going to be a little bit later on. But we start the show with Bully Ray versus Tommy Dreamer. A Bully Ray promo to start. How fun was this, Cyrus?
Awful. When I saw that this was the first matchup, I was just like, oh no. Because I've seen Tommy Dreamer wrestle live before. I think it was for MLW. No. Maybe he was like truly the shit during ECW and stuff like that, but like every time I see him outside of that promotion, it's never been enjoyable to watch. And that goes for the same for Bully Ray.
To be fair, you caught him around 8 years after this.
Yeah. And he's doing the same shit.
Yeah, he's doing the same shit, but I mean, I don't know how well he moved in MLW. He's almost nearly barely movable and actionable here, but he does a little bit better, I'm sure, right?
Yeah. Let's go with that.
So Bully Ray stooges to Hulk Hogan and Bischoff at the top. Dreamer comes out running down and then he starts running down all the things he did to Tommy Dreamer in ECW. This is a constant problem with TNA. And an issue that I feel like we bring up with every non-WWE entity, where they just can't seem to stop talking about things that did not happen in that company.
Yeah. Or at least like hinting at it or, referencing it in some shape or form. What it is that like, yes, it is real life. Yes, it is, like these things actually happen. You can't erase it. But you are your own separate universe when you are on TV. So when you bring these outside things, like for example, just something super recent, the FTW title, bringing that, you're gonna go, oh, let me go check out the history of the FTW title, and you know where that leads you? Straight to the WWE Network, baby. And it's just like, why would you do that?
And the thing is like you lose, like there's so much money off the table when you did that. And I think at that point, wrestling was in a better shape than it is now, to where like, if an AEW or New Japan or something like that, they do it now, it doesn't really like matter as much as it did to TNA, who was trying to collect market share on the same day or night as Monday Night Raw. Like, the night that Hulk Hogan showed back up on Impact, they had the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels burying the hatchet moment.
Ooh.
Like WWE they just crushed them that night. And again, like, they were trying to compete for market share, but they just could not keep the past away. And I mean, I know I just had a burying the hatchet moment of HBK and Bret Hart, but that was a meaningful thing, not Hulk Hogan for the 100th time, so. And
it happened within the WWE. So they can go back to that whenever, like Hulk Hogan, WWE, and or WWF and WCW thing. So just bringing these outside forces, it just doesn't work. That's why I really liked Lucha Underground a lot more, because they were in their own like concise universe.
Right. So this is a no DQ match, by the way. Dreamer comes out in the beginning, hits Bully Ray with a Minions plushie. Of course, the Minions and Despicable Me were a big deal at the time. Taz says loudly, "What is that thing? SpongeBob?"
Yeah. With Taz not knowing what a minion was, that like set the tone for this pay-per-view. Like that, absolutely hilarious.
I thought Taz was really great here.
Oh yeah. Taz is an amazing commentator. There's nothing more, nothing less. Like he's really good at it.
Like he again, he kind of like manages to not like make it about himself, but he does like put over a lot of talent the same way he does now in like AEW Dark and stuff like that. Like he has a really great penchant for doing that. And you know, I gotta say throughout this show, I will, you know, bring it up here, but I'll probably bring it up the rest of the night. Taz does a great job, especially in the main event.
Oh yeah, so, he tries his hardest for that main event.
I will say with this match, these two have done this with each other so much that they really have like the crowd going crazy. Like I can't say that the crowd was not into this. This is one of the matches I think they were into the most out of anything in the night, to be honest with you.
I would say this match, the tag team title match.
Yeah.
And the main event is too short, but they were going up for it until the finish.
Absolutely. I mean, because it's Jeff Hardy. It's Sting. You know, these are big deals, and you know that's what they want. that's literally what they wanted to see, and they came to see. I gotta say I didn't hate this match too much. I thought that the rope break during a no DQ match was very odd.
Hey man, that still plagues wrestling today. You remember when Kenny Omega got a rope break in his match with Jericho, and people like flipped?
Yeah, just like weird, just like a weird thing to uphold in this. The match that comes into its own in the third act when Devon, well, they don't call him Dudley anymore because they can't, but Devon's sons come out. Of course, Bubba Ray had injured one of his sons weeks before. It came out. Devon sneaks behind Bully to do the 3D with Tommy through the table.
I popped for that.
Yeah, it was. Listen, the 3D doesn't get talked about enough as one of the greatest finishers of all time. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that right now. The 3D is up there with the RKO. Probably Seth Rollins' stomp in a couple years. Like, probably one of the greatest finishers ever.
Yeah, I remember, you were probably so young here, but I remember when the SmackDown 2 commercial came out.
Oh, and count me out, brother.
They had the Dudleys doing the 3D, and I remember saying, I have to have this game no matter what.
That's
and
he.
I got it. And I got it.
So is SmackDown 2 Here Comes the Pain? Because that's probably the only one I had.
That was Know Your Role. That was Know Your Role.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I had one of the SmackDown games, and I've never seen wrestling, but I just had so much fun playing it.
So Tommy Dreamer wins. I gave it about 2 stars. I thought the crowd was into it, and I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a good opening match to get the crowd into it.
2.5 for me.
So going backstage, we get a really, and I don't like being like mean like this. I really don't. I don't enjoy it. Okay, I do not enjoy being mean like this. Really, really bad promo segment with Angelina Love and Winter of the Beautiful People. So bad.
This promo is like one of the worst things ever, and it. Like, women's wrestling has, I guess, like, at this point, it hasn't been truly taken serious yet.
No.
So you get, like, these undertones of, homosexuality and a little bit of homophobia.
Oh, there's definitely gay panic. Which is completely out of place, in a a style of sport where you have people in their trousers, especially like going against women. It's just like a really weird undertone of just weird stuff. And they were doing the lesbian angle at the time with the beautiful people.
Kind of insane, and it was just like, oh, like it's kind of just like, oh, why are you so obsessed with me angle? And it's because like, oh, she's probably like secretly gay or something like that. And it's just like, this has been done so many times, so many different forms of media. I don't understand how that like story was like the only thing people came up with.
Well, another thing I can't figure out how they came up with was the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match between Angelina Love and Winter versus Rosita and Sarita. Of course, you probably recognize Rosita as Zelina Vega and Sarita as Sarah Stock, who was a producer for the women's division in NXT down in Orlando.
Oh, cool.
So she was just recently released, and I think literally a couple of weeks ago she was arrested for assault. So,
oh. Jesus. Okay. I will say here, like I've said for a lot of spot callers, it's nice to see the start of Zelina Vega here, because boy, she is awful. She is terrible in this match.
She is on another level of stank in this match. Where do we start? So, and to another some more background. Winter in the other team, she was Katie Burchill. She was part of the Paul Burchill pirate angle from SmackDown a couple years prior, and she made her way over to TNA as well. The crowd, of course, all white, starts screaming USA when Sarita speaks Spanish. Sarita is Canadian, of course.
How did she know Spanish?
Well, I mean, she is Latina, but
okay, yeah.
But it's like she's not actually, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
that really doesn't work. Of course, Zelina Vega from New York, and then you're chanting USA. I believe Angelina Love is also Canadian.
Hold on, let me check. I'm on Cage Match right now. I believe she might be. Yes, she is from Toronto.
Yes. So who exactly are we cheering here? Because Winter is from the United Kingdom. So who are we cheering here? What's going on?
Winter is not even from the United States either. She's from Dutchland.
Wow. So
there
you have it.
Racism knows no bounds.
Absolutely not. This is a short match. It is a very, it's a match that's around, I think, under 10 minutes, just about the 10-minute mark, but it felt like it was 25 minutes long with the amount of miscommunications,
shenanigans, people missing all their cues, the referee missing his cue, interferences. This is like my worst nightmare in a match.
Yeah. Velvet Sky comes out extremely late to a point where I believe it was Rosita was waiting for the belt shot that did not come until around maybe 15 seconds after it was supposed to.
Like, and at that point they have the referee outside of the ring, and they're trying to shield his vision or trying to distract him. And then the referee goes, okay, that's enough. I need to see, I have to get back into the match. And the belt shot has not happened yet. So it's just like and I believe the referee, it is Paul.
It's Earl Hebner.
Yeah, Earl Hebner. Sorry. Got to bring it back. Legendary. I'm gonna steal your shit. But yeah, this match is like kind of terrible. Well, terrible is an understatement.
Yeah, it was bad. A lot of stupidity led to Rosita and Sarita winning the Knockout Tag Team Championships. I gave this a dud. This was terrible. It was setting the tone very, very early of how bad this show was.
I don't think. I think the dud is like like I can't even put a number on this. This match is not good.
I mean, just look at how far we've come.
Yeah, for Zelina Vega at least. I watched this the same time where she had her match against Asuka, and it's just like, oh, this is so much better. Like, yeah, it's Asuka, but like she moves so much better. She talks so much better. She has way more charisma. So she did come a long way.
All right, so we are into some cringy stuff here. So throughout the show, the overarching storyline as well, Kurt Angle, of course, not on this show, was with Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle. The weirdness of, and I don't know if you knew this.
Kurt Angle's wife, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He ended up getting with her in real life and marrying her, and they made a storyline out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't know that, but I always felt like these like vignettes were like so out of place, or like it should have just been placed on the TV show, because it's really like it breaks the flow. Honestly, like that's like the main issue. It just like breaks the flow, and it's supposed to be funny? Question mark? Because I didn't laugh at any of it.
I mean, be clear that, this was a show that people paid for. Sorry. Like,
could it be me, bro?
This is the show that people paid at least $45 for, depending on your HD service at the time. Mm-hmm. And they're getting vignettes throughout every single match to completely break the flow of the show. To compare that to shows now, like the pay-per-views we've been seeing from WWE, during the COVID era, and I know it's like it's an extenuating circumstance, but these shows flow so much better without a lot of interview segments and stuff like that. So, they're at Universal Studios. I don't know if anyone wasn't supposed to know that or didn't realize it, but this is the exact place that they filmed the actual shows at. So, I mean, they spent no money there. So that's cool. Karen Angle is not happy because she wants to get back to the room and presumably consummate her marriage. So real cool.
And Jeff Jarrett just wants to have fun with his kids and let them have a good time at Universal Studios. That's it. And I'm just like, so like, what's the problem here?
Well, the story is that Karen is like this ice queen who is like a man eater, and she's not happy with anything, not happy with anyone. So that's kind of like the story there.
Man, a huge yawn on that shit. Like, and it happens like 2 more times during the show, right?
Multiple. I think we get 3 more vignettes of this throughout the show, and the whole time I'm like, we don't care.
We got to get the Stephen A. Just we don't care.
We don't care. I'm gonna grab that too. We're going crazy with this new soundboard we have on the A Show Network. So then, after this 4-minute vignette, we get COVID denier and mayor of Longwood, Florida, Matt Morgan, talking about his upcoming match with Hernandez. What's the makeup of Longwood, Florida, Cyrus? Have you ever been there?
I'm about to Google it right now.
Like, how far is it from you?
How far is it from me? Let's see. Longwood, Florida. Because that don't sound like the place I ever been to. Let's see. Oh, ew. That's in Orlando. That ain't nowhere near me.
So pretty staunchly Republican, you'd say, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Orlando near Kissimmee River. Yeah.
Look how easy it is for wrestlers to become mayors of whole towns and cities.
Yeah, that's like really insane. I don't think that gets talked about enough. Like, I know Booker T also like he tried to run for mayor in Houston, right? And then like Kane is like wherever the fuck, and it's just like it's a popularity contest for fucking sure.
It's nasty. It really is nasty that, and then the thing is that they were able to spread their BS throughout more people who believe this BS. Like, it just shows that we should not be listening to these people much further than the promos that they spit on air. But next up, we have Matt Morgan versus Hernandez in a first blood match. Hernandez getting wild with this racist shit, right?
Man, he turned it up. And you know what? I fuck with it. That shit was
Talking
fire,
about white women
bro.
and what they love, and all. I was just like, wow, Hernandez, calm down, player.
He was trying to get people to chant USA at him. Like that's what it really was.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. A lot of cheap heat there. But as far as Hernandez, the character, I never thought he was good without Homicide. I always thought he was just kind of like, meh, he was there to me.
Man, I've never even seen him with Homicide. The only time I seen him was in Lucha Underground when he was kind of just like a hired goon. And I found him extremely boring there. And I think he was only there for like one season. So,
well, how about we maybe one day review a show with LAX in their original form? What do you think?
But that would be watching more Impact.
I'll pick a good show. We'll pick a good show. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
So Matt Morgan was positioned to be the Brock Lesnar type of TNA. Of course, he was in WWE as well. Didn't pan out too well for him as Matt Morgan was just overshadowed by so many other like big stars in the company at that time, like Batista and John Cena and Randy Orton. Like he just had no room there, and he didn't make it. But the match starts. Lots of striking. The crowd is completely dead, silent. I don't know what happened between that tag match and here, but it didn't seem like they gave much of a fuck about this.
And at the start, like these two like huge dudes like coming together to beat the hell out of each other. Like they're like this match doesn't start out bad. So I'm confused on why like the crowd was so dead.
Well, I know why they're dead by the end of this match, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Hernandez tries to stab Matt Morgan with a broomstick. How about this spot?
What about it? This shit's heat.
Of course, it's deathmatch stuff.
Hey, man, it's a first blood match. That's gonna get some blood, and that's gonna get him to win.
I feel like there could have been more. There could have been more inventive spots in this match. Like,
definitely.
It felt like it was kind of like playing by the numbers, running through the motions of a first blood match. There was a fan. This shit is so Bush League that a fan actually rushed to the ring to try and get them to stop this boring ass match.
Yeah, that was crazy. And you know what? People that just wanted to go to Universal just stumble upon this. They don't give a fuck. So there were, of course, like somebody was gonna like try some shit like this. And it was just like, what can you do? There's like no security at the front.
And clearly they let him rock. So the ending of this match. Oh man, you ready for this?
Wait. So just something that happens. So when the fan rushes it, there's a off-screen ref bump because the ref was trying to beat the hell out of whatever dude ran in.
Yes.
So there's a ref bump.
Getting busy.
Yeah, the ref was getting busy, but there's a ref bump that you don't see. And there's like a long like pan to Hernandez, I believe, like trying to blade or like revving up for what is the end of this match, which is like so stupid.
So, as Cyrus said, there's a ref bump. Hernandez sprays Morgan with fake blood. The ref notices, and Hernandez, he wins.
Awful.
I will say, not for nothing, it's an inventive attempt. For a finish, it doesn't work at all. I mean,
well, it doesn't work on
for a cut. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the same idea of Stone Cold and Kane's first blood match. I don't know if you ever saw that, where people were like, "How is Kane going to, get blood on his match? You can't see it. He's all red." And that ended up with Austin being screwed out of the title. In this sense, it was inventive in that same way, but it was like the ref could literally just wipe the blood off of him and see that there was no cut.
Yeah, well, which he does, and then he touches his chest, he gets like some blood on his hand, and then like it should be clear that there's no cut there. But then he was just like, call for the bell. And I guess like that would be cool for TV, that would like lead up to the pay-per-view, but like that doesn't work here. Like it doesn't work for me. At least if this is like, I don't know if they like continue this feud going forward, but like if this is like the blow off match, like that's not not good idea, fellas.
I give it a dud. 2 duds in a row.
Really?
Yeah.
I gave it a 2. It was okay. It was serviceable until the fan came in.
The fan did ruin the vibe for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Completely ruined the vibe for me. So next up, yet another interview segment. Who paced this pay-per-view?
I would assume Eric Bischoff, but this interview segment is terrible. And you know, I say a lot of times that, you know, it's good to see them grow. But here, I see no growth.
Generation Me. Of course, we all know them as the Young Bucks. They cut a promo to Christy Hemme. It's pretty bad. Moving on.
No, not moving on. Can we talk about like the topic of this stupid like interview?
Oh, go ahead.
Or is this like, both of Generation Me, Matt and Nick Jackson, or whatever the hell their name is at this time.
They're Matt and Nick Buck.
No, I think it's like Jeremy and something.
Oh yeah, Jeremy and but their last names are Buck, so that's all.
Okay, yeah. So they're both in this X Division match that we're going to talk about, and they're just like, well, my brother's going to let me win because it's my birthday. And he's just like, oh shit, I don't know about that, big fella. And like, there's like this weird tension that's there, but like, it's never truly expressed because these two are like terrible at acting.
It is never paid off other than one spot in this match whatsoever. We then go to Jeremy Borash speaking to Kazarian. Kazarian drops a Charlie Sheen reference, immediately dating the show.
Yeah, well, if that didn't date the show, the next competitor in this match also dates this show.
Oh, hold on one second. I got you. Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
Robbie E gets a complete segment. We are now at like 5 minutes of no wrestling on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
This is a pay-per-view. And then, Cyrus, after this, we get a Ultimate X video package.
of all the amazing X division matches, or that can't possibly, you know, this match can't compete with all those amazing ones from back in the day. So like, oh my God.
I will say that they're short-staffed here, which is to be expected. But this was the Ultimate X match. Max Buck versus Jeremy Buck versus Robbie E versus Kazarian. My issue, I always had a big issue with the Ultimate X. And it's because like they have to manufacture drama when there's absolutely there is no drama here. And it's a lot worse to me than a ladder match, because at least with the ladder match, there is a climb to the top vertically. Mm-hmm. Here, you're kind of playing. Remember Chicken? We used to play like on the monkey bars.
Yeah,
that's the drama of that. And I always thought it was to me like less interesting because like, and we'll talk about it throughout the match. Like, there's a point where like Kazarian could have won the title and he was right on the rope, but he did a leg drop on Robbie E instead of just getting the belt. Like, it didn't make any sense. Or
at least like entertaining, like reaching for the belt, and he'd be like, "Oh shit, I can't like grab it," and then like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna hit the leg drop." Like, I remember Edge complaining about like something like that for the North American ladder match, like the first one, where Velveteen Dream, instead of like trying to go for the title, he just like does the elbow drop, and that seems to always be the case in like every ladder match in like history.
But I mean, it's even worse here.
Yeah, definitely.
This match, obviously, a little bit. And another thing about Ultimate X, it depends on the challenger. It depends on the competitors in the match, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a considerably slower Ultimate X match because of who's in it. You know, obviously, the Bucks can go. And Kazarian
Oh boy,
can
can
go,
they?
yeah, but like Robbie E's here.
And Robbie E is not seen for a considerably long time in this match. I think he gets hurt off like a tope or something, and then he just like disappears. And that's when all the drama between Generation Me like starts, where they both go for the title, and then Matt is just like, "Wait, what are you doing? I'm gonna win!" And then like, just fight for it. That like, it should stop there. Like they should have like Nick Jackson probably should have like super kicked him or just like elbow strike or something, because like a lot of that story like slowed down the pace of the match because at some point they just like start talking to each other.
Yeah. There was a cool moment with the top rope flux capacitor, which is pretty cool. Kazarian does do exactly what I said that he should have done in the beginning. He walks on top of the wires and he grabs the title for the win, retaining his X Division championship. I give it 3 stars. It was fine. I mean, it really suffered from really no big names here, but I thought Generation Me really went crazy in this match. I thought they were the best part.
Yeah, definitely. Same with the 3. I definitely thought like Generation Me definitely showed their athleticism when reaching for the rope and like climbing towards the title. Like I think it might have just been the blonde hair one. Whatever. I don't I don't care. But like one of them just jumps and they make it to the rope, like on some like NBA player shit. And I was just like, oh, that's like absolutely like that's amazing. Also, like, is that title up high? If they could just really just like fucking jump up and grab it like that. But it was a cool match. Robbie E, yikes. Not he doesn't really get much time to shine anyway, but what he's shown here, I wasn't impressed.
And he was pushed so much during this era. Like he had a lot of big pushes throughout this generation of TNA and Impact Wrestling. Like he had the Snooki spot and all of that. Like he had all of that. And I think, once that kind of went away, he had to keep up the gimmick, and people weren't putting their hands up.
I think they really wanted to keep him on the show a lot during this time, because I guess like Jersey Shore was so popular that like, oh, like everybody's going to get this reference. Like everybody's going to get this joke.
So after that match, we get more Jarrett and Karen Angle stuff. I skipped over this. Sorry. Not sorry. I fast forwarded.
I didn't, but I assumed it's just like more pizza. That was like about it. Like that was the big joke at the end.
Beer Money and Christy Hemme. Very weird segment. They get Christy to bend over. Yeah.
In the very literal sense, they were asking her to do like the beer, like kind of just the Beer Money like celebration thing, but they were just like, bend over, just bend over. And I was just like, oh, this is getting creepy.
Very, very weird. Wasn't a fan of it, but I mean, super short. Not as long as the Jarrett Karen Angle stuff, which went on way too long. But it leads into our next match: Beer Money versus Inc.
Terrible name.
And be clear, Cyrus, Beer Money was one of the best tag teams in the world at this time.
Oh,
they were
the
tag team in TNA.
They definitely showed it. When watching this match, I was just like, I see why everybody like truly like loves them. Like they were definitely like in this match, they're truly amazing here.
Yeah, and they love them, but more than anything, like again, like it shows like how great of a tag team specialist Robert Roode is. Like he's really good in this match as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Inc. has Shannon Moore in it. He was famously known for being hoed by CM Punk like 10 times in a row on ECW before he left for TNA, I believe in 2009, or he got let go, I believe. The story here is the growing discontent between Moore and Neil, his tag team partner, while trying to take down the Vets. The pacing here is, I felt like I was watching a completely different show. How'd you feel?
Yes. This match, like at this point, I was just like, this is the match that made me like get up out of my seat.
Right.
Like I've expressed before that I'm not like the biggest tag team wrestler guy. Like it's not like I don't truly go out of my way to just like only watch tag team wrestling. But this was just like, oh, like I was tapped in. Like I was truly fucking with this match. This is probably one of the 3 great matches on the show.
So again, really solid, really quick match as well. Neil tries to stop Moore from using the Book of Dillygaff, but gets caught with a DWI for the win. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. I thought the end got really slow for storyline purposes, but I thought Beer Money made them look really, really good. Made them
look amazing. And, you know, when they come out with like their mohawks and all their ink or whatever, I was just like, oh, these guys look ridiculous. But Beer Money made them look amazing. And right after watching this, James Storm basically says like, yeah, Beer Money was supposed to come back, but like COVID happened. And I was so sad. I want to see it. Yeah.
They are fucking needed in that roster right now.
Definitely. Just Rude and Ziggler, they just don't mesh well.
Not at all. He's no James Storm, I say that much. And Ziggler's he's not bad, but he's no James Storm.
And I do like James Storm.
Next up, we see Cold Blood Matt Hardy. He talks with Ric Flair. This is Matt Hardy's like 15th revision.
Mm-hmm. Master of reinvention.
Yeah, like, I love that. I love the excitement on your voice.
Yeah. I don't have many positive memories of this man.
So this leads us to our next match, which is AJ Styles versus Matt Hardy. AJ Styles repping Fortune. This was during the stupid Fortune versus Immortal feud. AJ getting his revenge on Hardy after Ric Flair turned on him, which led Ric Flair jumping from Immortal to Fortune, which was like a 4 horsemen type stable that he just jumped over to.
Ric Flair always good to be a valet of some sort.
He was good here. I mean, this was still Ric Flair when he was at the height of his like old man powers. Yeah. This is like post you're retired, you can't wrestle no more, and him saying, "Nah, fuck that, I'm broke," and then going to TNA.
Yeah, that's definitely this time period. And hey, man, chase the bag, man.
Get the bag, chase the bag. He is great in this match, but AJ Styles is fucking wowing. Did you see the slide under the guardrail?
Yeah. Hey, man, this thing is a goat. Like it is so weird. Like you have this, like AJ Styles. Like I can't even say like, you know, like it's amazing to see like them like get better. Like you know, seeing the beginning, because AJ Styles is like good at every period that I've seen him wrestle. It's every kind of insane. One. Yeah.
And the thing is, his athleticism might be different. Like, obviously, we're looking at this with 2020 eyes. You know, that was, 10 years ago. But literally, like, almost 10 years ago that he had this match. But, he was doing way more high-flying stuff, but he just got better. And then he now spaces out the high-flying stuff a lot more. So, in fact, in a lot of ways, he's a better wrestler because he doesn't have to depend on that stuff anymore. He actually like creates a story around things like the phenomenal forearm. Like, and it's one thing that's really crazy with AJ is that like, when he's about to do certain moves. So, the arm stretched, it's about to be Styles Clash.
Yeah.
when he starts touching the elbow pad, you know what he's going for.
Yeah. The shit's fire, bro. Like AJ Styles truly, one of the like greatest of all times, man. Like he is a really like phenomenal talent.
I have here on my notes, Ric Flair squeezes AJ's dick, and I put, okay.
You didn't put, you didn't put a picture of Max B under it.
AJ no sells an eye gouge. Kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey man, fuck the cheating. I'm above that. I don't need a C.
So really weird fucking finish here with Flair trying to interrupt the pin, but Hebner ignoring him and counting the 3 after the spiral tap.
Mm-hmm. This is
clear
like
miscommunication here.
The match was really good, but I had to knock off a couple points off that. Like Earl Hebner, yeah, nostalgia factor, but man, this guy's terrible.
Really, really, really awful. Just like at that point, it was just for name value that he was even allowed close to matches like this. I gave it 3. I thought it was fine for what it was. AJ worked his ass off.
Yeah, like AJ Styles is definitely the best part of this match, and we were almost at to the point where we say our ratings, but like we haven't even talked about Matt Hardy at all.
Oh no, he was a body in the ring.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything that impresses me in this match. I'll say that, and maybe it is because like 2020 odds, I am much like I'm not high on him at all. But it is what it is for that guy.
After the match, AJ gives Flair a low blow, kind of giving a payback for the low blow he received in that match. More honeymoon shit. Jeff says he's going to call for a truce with Kurt Angle. When the water hits the family, including Karen Angle, Jarrett corpses and he's starting. He starts to laugh.
I thought the water splash was like funny, but that was the only thing that got me.
I thought it was pretty fun. I thought Jarrett was great here.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have Mr. Anderson.
Ugh. Ooh. All right.
With Christy Hemme, Anderson's gimmick here is that he's an asshole. There you go. That's his gimmick. He's an asshole.
Yeah. When I got back into wrestling and that, I just started doing like, the deep dive of like, oh, you should probably watch this. You should probably watch that. So whenever a pay-per-view match was like recommended to me, I would watch the full pay-per-view just so I can just like, soak up as much information as possible. But like pay-per-views of the, what would it be? The Russo's Aggression era, I guess. Featured a lot of his matches, and I would say he's the only person I would skip during that period of time. I do not like Mr. Anderson at all.
He was so pushed, heavily pushed in the WWE. I don't know if you knew this or remember this, or he was supposed to be Vince McMahon's son. That's how big of a push he was going to get in the WWE.
I probably never got to that, but yeah,
it was during it was during the Who Killed Mr. McMahon angle, which of course, unfortunately, coincided with another event that same day.
With an actual murder.
Yeah, it was supposed to be during all of that.
Mm-hmm. Not a fan of this guy. And Rob Van Dam, like I like him, but in this match I was just like, well, it's him doing his like usual shit.
Listen, man, I put this in my notes. Anderson being a TNA heavyweight champion is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It is a joke. To me, Anderson's always been an entrance, and really that's about it. And that's what he's always been. I thought his entrance was cool, but that's about it. There was a pretty good video package, crowd chanting asshole at Anderson. RVD at one point attempts a leg drop on the guardrail. Anderson moves. That looked like it hurt like hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely could have tore something there or like cracked something. That looked very painful.
These two, and I don't want to say this with no exaggeration here. They have literally zero chemistry.
Man. I would say there's like a good match stretch. Like the only like good match stretch is the Beer Money and AJ Styles match. And then like I'm at the edge of my seat. This match just made me go like, oh, we're back in TNA. Let's just the high is over. This match is like doesn't impress me at all. I'm not wowed by anything. Like, I pop for the usual like RVD stuff. Like, I think the Rolling Thunder is like one of the coolest things ever, and then like that's about it.
Yeah, I wanted to like this a lot more. I would really love for you and I to review a old ECW show. Possibly some of the ones like the one with RVD and Sabu versus Hayabusa, and I forgot the other guy. Or really just do RVD Sabu or RVD Taz. Like, I would love for us to watch some old RVD stuff.
Shit, just write it down and we could do it.
I think that you don't really get the full breadth of how Rob Van Dam changed wrestling in the same way that Jeff Hardy and Edge and Christian and Matt changed it in that time. RVD was right there as well in terms of branding, in terms of athleticism, in terms of just like being fucking cool as hell. I remember just being such a huge fan of RVD, and he remained for at least a decade one of the most popular wrestlers ever.
He definitely like reeks of charisma. Like, he is a really cool motherfucker, and it might be all the weed, bruh.
It's for sure the weed. I mean, just think about what they gave him at the time before he kind of like smoked it all away, so to speak. Like, this guy was the ECW and WWE champion at the same time, and they were going to run with it. They were running with it. And, just one wrong turn essentially is what kind of ruined all of that. And, I know he says that he doesn't regret anything. And, it was like kind of like a wake up call for him. But, that had to show like there was just so much potential there after he beat John Cena at ECW One Night Stand. Have you seen that show?
Yes, I've seen it. That show's fire.
Yes, it's really good. And again, like,
wait, we didn't review that show? Because no way I was watching that shit for no reason.
No, we've never reviewed the John Cena RVD main evented One Night Stand. I think it was One Night Stand 2. That's what it was.
Oh, huh. I'll have to look at the tapes.
It had that spectacular Tommy Dreamer, Beulah versus Lita Edge match, which was so green. The way that Edge pinned Beulah at the end of that match was the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen in my life.
That's before he was a good person.
Bro, he was pumping with the 1, 2s, and 3s. He was pumping with it, bro. Just nasty. I mean, let's get back to this match. Nothing much happens here. Both men are counted out after Anderson hits his finish on the outside. These two weren't meshing at all. The finish was a stupid idea to do this late into the show. I don't know why you didn't have them do this after the Dreamer and Bully Ray match, so that you don't send the fans unhappy with no challenger going into this next piece of shit we're going to talk about.
Yeah, very, very poor decision here. Honestly, if this match would have happened at any point before the beer money match, I would have been okay. Like, I would be less upset about it, because like these two, like, I guess like slaps in the face back to back. At that time, I would have been like sick. Like, I probably would never watch that shit again.
If you paid money for this pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure that maybe around the Rosita match, you're probably feeling buyer's remorse, but you're for sure feeling buyer's remorse at this point, and you're just now saying, you know what? You know what's going to really, really bring it home for me? I'm going to see Sting and Jeff Hardy.
Two legends?
But before we talk about that match, fans chant restart the match. Other fans say no because they just want to get to the end of the show.
That's hilarious.
But we get to a pre-taped interview with Jeff Hardy, high as hell, calling himself the Antichrist.
That meant we see a lot on this show. We've seen a lot of people do promos high. Would you say this promo is better than the Jake the Snake one?
It's definitely scarier.
I like the Jake the Snake Robert ones on Heroes of Wrestling, because he's literally talking about nothing. And he's like, since they're in a casino, he's like trying to do like gambling references. So there's a lot more effort put in there into like what Jeff did here.
Yeah. there was definitely more scary energy to me here. Like Jeff just seemed not well altogether. And the fact that they allowed him to do this and what we're about to see, we still debate this today. Sting video package. Pretty cool. Yeah, Hardy's music plays. Hardy looks fucked up, stumbling up the steps. We see the...
Hold on. The lights are real low. All right. The lights are real low, so you can't see it yet. But the way that he's swaying back and forth with the music, I've been there.
Wow.
I can see it.
Wow.
I saw it.
You was on another level, huh?
Hey, man. When you're prescribed Percocet, you just see things, man.
Sheesh.
It was legal.
The Jeff Hardy belt is ugly as sin. Let's just be clear. It's very ugly.
What? I think it's okay.
The Enigma belt is trash. You can at me at OG Johnny 5 if you want to get your issue. Sting comes out and is visibly upset about what's happening. Obviously, we know what's going on. At that time, no one did. But then Eric Bischoff comes out and he has an announcement for the crowd.
Slight change of plans here, ladies and gentlemen. Slight change in plans.
He stops and tells Jeff Hardy to do something. I'm pretty sure he told him just lay down and lose. And he changes the match to no DQ. Sting then punches Bischoff. I'm pretty sure Bischoff told him to do this to get some heat. And then Jeff Hardy, before they even lock up, bell rings, Jeff Hardy just starts doing this.
Right now, Jeff Hardy, well, he better not worry about throwing his T-shirt. I better worry about the world title at stake here.
Hardly the time to play to the crowd.
He starts playing with his T-shirt.
Yeah, he's like teasing that he's going to throw it to the crowd for a comedically long time. And I was just like, I've seen this before. But not to like this level.
How could they allow this to happen?
Honestly, I like that they I'm glad that Bischoff came out and did what he had to do rather than them doing the full match. This match may be like one of the worst things ever, but this is probably the best outcome ever.
Yeah, I mean, Sting hits a Scorpion Death Drop. Hardy kicks out at 3, but they still count the match anyway.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
he was definitely going into the business for himself, but it was just like, lay down.
Yeah, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to fall to this shit. Not today. I have to, there's no other way I could name this match as anything but a dud. Hardy shouldn't have been out there. Sting's face told to tell. He wins the belt. A fan chants bullshit, and Sting says out loud, I agree.
Yeah, that made me scream. I really started dying laughing. What would have been the easy fix for this is somebody finds Jeff Hardy before the Anderson and RVD match, see that his glazed over, the card is subject to change, and they do the match, have him win, and possibly pull double duty for Jeff. And that would have been okay.
Yeah, I mean, or just make the Anderson, because they end up doing a triple threat anyway. So just have Anderson and RVD just be in the main event, so that at least you can send the fans home happy, and Sting gets to actually work.
Yeah, they could have just did the triple threat and then just like go long. Yeah, that would have been okay.
I assure you, it probably wouldn't have been a better match than what we got. But it's like there's no way they didn't know moments before the match before it, that Hardy was in no condition to actually wrestle that night. It was just really odd that it just even looking at it today with 2020 eyes, I can't call it for Impact. I don't know what they would do, knowing what they allowed happen at their pay-per-view with COVID. But no way that anyone, any company that's worth their weight in gold would allow someone to go out in that shape.
Now there would have been an angle where Jeff Hardy would have got shot moments before the pay-per-view.
Exactly.
They're starting to do the somebody gets shot a lot or like murdered or some shape or form. And hey man, I'm fucking with it.
So after this match, surprise, surprise, TNA sent Hardy home and he wouldn't return until August 25th at the Impact Wrestling tapings. He asked fans for forgiveness a week later at the September 8th episode, and he wrote out his contract and left. I think I want to say a couple years after. Sting would lose the title at Slammiversary to Anderson, becoming Joker Sting afterward, and he left TNA in 2014. And that is where we will close the book on TNA Victory Road 2011 on Spot Caller. Cyrus, what did you give the show overall?
Overall, probably a 2.
There was no hesitation.
Yeah, there's only 2 good matches, so I feel like that's the that's an okay rating. Honestly, go ahead. My fault.
I'd swing it around 3.
You're a lot more generous than me, which is like surprising because you're a long time wrestling fan, and I thought like this probably would have been like a 1.5 for you.
Yeah, I really like the AJ. I really like AJ's performance. The Ultimate X match was okay. I didn't mind the opening match. I think more. I tolerated a lot more matches than I thought I would at the end of this. So I can't say that I was too upset about the outcome or what was going on the show. I thought it was a solid middle. But then everything around it was terrible. You had so many duds or matches that I just wouldn't even rate that I can't with any.
Yeah. So it's just like, there's like so much bad that it just really overweighs all the good that's on the show. And that's why I just had to give it the solid 2.
So there we have it. Another episode of Spot Callers in the bag. I don't know where we're going to go next. Do you want to stay in the Universal Studios? Cyrus, you want to do another TNA show?
Yeah, it's been a minute since I put the Google form up so people can send us shows to watch. I haven't peeped in a long time, but yeah, we can stay in the Impact Zone. But let's dial the clock back a little bit and let's go to a graceful period.
Okay, yeah. We'll find something. I'll pick something out.
Yeah,
I know the good ones.
I hope you do.
So, of course, thank you all for listening to Spot Callers for the month of October. As always, you can follow us at The A Show RNC on Twitter. Follow me at OGJohnny5 and Cyrus at H_visibility. You can listen to shows such as The War Report, this show you're listening to right here, The A Show, The Rewriters Room, and The War Report every single week, nearly every single week. But of course, as with anything, we must bid you adieu until next month. I think we're going to go back to the Universal. We're going back to the Impact Zone. That's where we're going to go, right? Impact Zone.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to cancel Impact Plus. So until then, thank you all for listening to the show. And until next month, please wash your hands, cover your faces, wear a mask, and please go vote. Thank you. So we're going to leave you with something that very near and dear to Cyrus's heart. He had to have the song here. So we're going to play you out with Robbie E's music again. See you later.
They need to put this on Apple Music.